Testing 1, 2, 3. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome. Thank you for joining us in this spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and participation in our service here this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above all the negative energy we may have experienced throughout the past week, and manifest love for the next week. Before I introduce our Reverend, I want to recognize Cynthia Hart and Connie Marshall, our musicians, who do an outstanding job.
Hi.
And I also want to welcome our online congregation. But without further ado, our master teacher, Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, will now proceed with our service. Reverend?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. There. Wow. Another month. May 1st.
Thank
Can
you.
you believe it?
Wow.
May 1st. Oh my goodness. Welcome everybody. Online congregation, in-house congregation. It's so good to see you today. For those of you who don't know, we're going to have a memorial service this afternoon. So if you have not planned to stay, you might want to adjust your calendar so that you can stay this afternoon for our memorial service. Okay, let us begin as we always do by closing our eyes, turning within, turning out the outer world and turning within to the spirit. Just breathing in and breathing out, remembering that it is that breath that connects us within, that it is that breath that connects us to the spirit of life that it is, that we are. It is that breath that as it moves in and through our bodies, it is enlivening all parts of our bodies. And as we relax our minds, we simply allow the spirit to be more recognizable so that we may be more attentive. And so we come together this day to understand, to realize, to know more fully and completely who and what we are. We come today to celebrate who we are. We come this day to recognize that we are not alone in our journey to self-awareness, self-understanding, and we recognize all of our fellow beings as expressions of the divine just as we are. And so we rejoice in this opportunity that we have to be together today, to understand, to learn, to grow, and to become more and more self-aware, and therefore to have more of the life that we desire to live. And so we rejoice that this is so. We bless each person who's participating in our service today, our musicians, our technology team, our audience here in Douglasville, as well as all around the world. We are grateful that we are all here today celebrating, learning, growing, expanding our consciousness together. And as we express that experience as our oneness, we know that all people everywhere are touched by the love that we share, the joy that we experience, and the self-knowing that is expanding in, through, and as each one of us. And so it is.
And so it is.
See, if you'd like to stand, and in your program, and up there is our vision and mission statement, along with our declaration of principles. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. In our principles, I believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe that God is personal to all who feel its indwelling presence. And for next week, I'm going to have Marsha have the new part that's added. I forgot. No. Yeah, there it is. Okay. We believe in the healing of the sick. Yeah, the pound in the mind. Because God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. And she is just definitely more on it than I am. Okay, and so we added that part because that is the truth, that we use our mind to heal and to change conditions.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
All right.
Everybody remain standing. We have a Ricky Byers song for our congregational for May. It's called Pour Yourself in Me. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, joy, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, pour your light in me, pour your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, dance and smile with me, dance and smile and you can smile while you're singing. Wonderful Spirit, dance and smile with me, dance and smile into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful Spirit. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The reading today comes from How to Survive Change You Didn't Ask For by M.J. Ryan. Okay. This is a quote from Mervyn B. Tolson. Since we live in a changing universe, why do humans oppose change? If a rock is the way, the root
If the rock is in the way, the root of the tree will change its direction. Even a rat will change to its tactics to get a piece of cheese. Melvin B. Wholesome. Okay, change is the one thing you can count on. Quote, only in growth and change, paradoxically, enough is true security to be found. Quote by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. Christopher Hildrich owns a business installing high-end wood flooring. During the refinancing boom in the decade, his business grew to $4 million. As the economy has slowed, demand for his products has shrunk. Competitors are offering much lower prices, and customers have less spare cash to choose the high-end option, if they can afford new floors at all. This development has taken him totally by surprise. In an interview in the San Francisco Chronicle, he says, quote, I figured it would just roll along and I would do my estimates and the phone would ring. I would have thought that by now I'd be riding the crest of a wave. Contrast that response to my client Al's. When I asked him, the CEO of a real estate development company in Las Vegas, how he was doing in the downturn, he confided, I know the real estate boom couldn't go on forever, so I created a rainy day fund. I am not only using it to tide me over, but to buy out troubled developers around the town. Smart man, Al. He knows intuitively there is only one sure thing in life, that things will change. How and when, none of us know, but that everything will is absolutely guaranteed. The Buddha called this awareness the first noble truth, the fact that everything in life is impermanent. Fighting against that truth only causes us suffering, he taught, because it's fighting against reality. Accepting that truth diminishes out suffering because we're in alignment with the way life is. When we accept that the only thing constant is change, we aren't so taken by surprise when the change occurs. Night follows day, winter follows summer, the moon waxes and wanes, change happens. I empathize with Christopher Hildrich because I too learned this lesson the hard way. Riding the wave of a couple of bestsellers as a book publisher, I kept expanding my company and had just bought a big new house when the largest returns in the industry rolled back through my door, leaving a deficit the company never could recover from. No matter how many predictions of future sales based on past sales we created, they were wrong because the whole industry was going through a game-changing shift. I wish I had planned for the boom not continuing forever. It would have prevented a lot of sleepless nights. Even though most of us can't know for sure when and how change will hit us, we can at least keep in our awareness the simple fact that it will, and at a more rapid pace than ever before in human history. Our work and personal lives will change, and guaranteed, and we need to be ready with appropriate attitudes and actions so that, like Al, we minimize the negative impacts and capitalize on the opportunities. When we are aware of change, we can see the signs earlier, so we're ahead of the wave. This gives us a distinct advantage in responding. And so it is.
And so it is. I have a song for you this morning by Lauren Daigle. It's called Rebel Heart. I know that I struggle with feeling separate. I think Lily and I talked about that. She has a song I wrote that she likes called I'm Not Separate. Bring it here, Connie. Hold on. Technical difficulty. Okay. We like to record everything, so there you go. There it is. Okay. Like I was saying, the song is called Rebel Heart, and it's about surrendering to your higher power. 0725. Put in 0725. I'm sorry. My technical difficulties here. And everybody knows. That's my birthday, by the way, if you all want to plan in advance. 0725. Okay, bring it here again. Oh, gosh. Okay, we're going to try one more time. Don't touch it. Just put it in the stand. I don't know. It's being difficult. Mucho difficulty. So we save all of these.
That's what happens when you don't have that time.
I guess so. All right. Anyway, this is about surrendering to your higher spirit. Thank you for bearing with me here. Now, push the button. Okay. I give up. All right, here we go. Oh, you got it? Lord, I offer up this rebel heart, so stubborn and so restless from the start. I don't want to fight you anymore, so take this rebel heart and make it yours. Father, I no longer want to run. You've broken my resistance with your love and drowned it underneath your loving spill. So take this rebel heart unto your will. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an arrow, straight and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. Help me lay the renegade to rest and turn the stone inside me back to flesh. And hold me till my best defenses fall. And watch this rebel heart surrender all. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an arrow, straight and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. Oh, take my life and let it be yours. Take my life and let it be yours. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an arrow, straight and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. And now this rebel heart belongs to you.
I think we all have rebel hearts at some point. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Oh my. So I don't know if you paid too much attention, but live shows, even in professional TV land, have difficulties. It's like they, the call drops, or something happens and they go, we're going to commercial, and so maybe we should do that. Learn how to do commercials, okay? Yeah. Okay. Don't forget to change your password. I know. Well, we'll remember the birthday. You change your password. Well, I want to ask you a question. What have you learned about yourself in this past 2 years? 2.5 years, actually. Last March 22nd. No, March 22nd, 2020 was our first Sunday online here in our church. And we all went home. And the Sunday before, we had come to church and we had quite a few people. I was like expecting, that only a few people were going to show up, but we had quite a few people. And we said, we don't know what's going to happen. Those of you who were there probably remember, we don't know what's going to happen. So just check the newsletter and see where we're going to be. And during that week, we found out, yes, we could not meet. And so Marcia got busy, creating Zoom and all that so that we didn't miss a beat. We did not miss a beat. We did not miss one single Sunday. Okay. So, we need to acknowledge ourselves for that. Okay. And we have not missed any Sunday since then. Now, some of you have missed some Sundays. But we as a community have not. Even when I was not here, I left somebody in my place. So I'm going to ask you, what have you learned in this last 2.5 years about yourself? We have been in a period of massive change, and that's one of the reasons why I took that book. I used that book that Lily read from today. The change we did not ask for the changes in the last 2 years. Nobody could have predicted this last change. Now, the scientists knew that the COVID was, that the, whatever that, it's not COVID, it's the, I forgot the name, I didn't think about, I just thought about it just now, so I forgot. Anyway, the thing that causes the virus, okay, they have been studying that for years. And because I was on a plane coming back and I was watching some movie on there and it was about a doctor. And one of the things he was talking about is, he was a scientist doctor, and he had been working on cancer drugs because he had family members who had died of cancer. And so he is working on that. But in the process of it, they also talked about viruses because they're concerned that sometimes viruses cause cancers. And the virus that we've been dealing with was one that they had been studying. So the scientists knew it was coming. They did not know when or where or how, but they had been studying it. And so when we got this, people were really concerned that they got the vaccine so fast and not many, many years because they had been studying it already. They had been preparing for it, but nobody told us. Nobody told us that we could have another pandemic like they had in 1918 or around that time. And so for us, it was a complete surprise. Look at what's going to happen next week. You're not going to be able to talk to your friends and neighbors. You're going to have to be shut down in your house. You can't go to work. You can't go here. You can't go there. It's like this massive change that it seemed to happen overnight. It happened over a few days or a few weeks, but it still felt overnight, didn't it? It just like that kind of fast. It just like here today, gone tomorrow. It was massive change, and none of us had asked for it. None of us had expected it. And so I want you to think back how you felt at the time. I would say most people felt pretty scared. And the reason they felt pretty scared is because we didn't know how it was transmitted. Remember? That's why they closed stuff down. That's why they couldn't have, the stadiums open and the plays open and all the movie theaters and all the things that, we enjoyed doing had to shut down because they were not sure how this thing was transmitted. When you're not sure of something and all this massive change is happening and nobody's there saying, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Remember when you were a little kid and stuff happened in your family, right? Your mom and dad said, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Nobody did that to us. Nobody said, okay, it's going to be, everybody just went into panic mode. Everybody, governments, ministers, people who were supposed to go, now everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it, okay? None of that happened. They're all walking around going like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Oh my God. Look, and then people dying and going about, surprise. It was a period of such change that none of us had asked for. And yet at the same time, we went through massive feelings, and I'm willing to bet the one that we identified with and noticed most was fear. Think about it. If you go to the doctor, you've been not feeling well, right? And you're going like, I just think I'll check this out. So you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, let us run some tests, see what's going on. They run a bunch of tests, takes a couple, 3 weeks, maybe even a month. And they come back and they sit you down and they say, you have cancer. What do you feel like? What is your most immediate feeling? It's mostly fear. I know a lot of people who have had cancer, including people in my family. It's fear. And it's not only fear that you have for yourself, but your family feels fear for you, people who love you. Now, take that aside. A coworker gave you at your birthday, coming up in July, okay? They give you a birthday card, and in the birthday card are a bunch of lottery, scratch-offs. And, they were like, maybe you win, maybe you don't, I don't know about you, but people have actually done that for me, mostly at Christmas time. All right, so you scratch it off, and lo and behold, you have just won $200,000. How do you feel now? So your circumstances have determined your feeling. But let's do something else. Instead of you having cancer, what about somebody you love having cancer? Your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, somebody else, okay? How do you feel about that? Or how do you feel about them winning the lottery ticket, not you? Okay? I'm willing to bet that your feelings, regardless of which situation I've just put you in, they all are in a group of fear, happy, joyous, jealous, yeah, jealous, okay, and scared, which is fear. But I'm willing to bet that you've got them in this little basket, and there's not many of them. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a lot more fears. Marcia, the first one. So I'm willing to, so the University of California, Berkeley did a study, and they found we have 27 different emotions, not feelings, emotions. Can you imagine? So when you are let off from your job at the pandemic, yeah, fear is in the middle column, okay? But what else could you have felt? You could have felt confusion, okay? You could have felt sadness. You could have, some people were satisfied that they got to stay home, okay? Some people may have felt absolute horror, which you could say terror could be there too. I would say, for last terror. Okay? So there's a variety, and then, of course, anxiety, of course, but there's a variety of feelings that we have that we tend to just limit them to just a few. And yet at the same time, all these other feelings are going on. And so when someone asks you, how'd you feel today? You go like, well, no wonder you can't figure out. Look at that. You have so many choices of how you could feel. 27 different. Now here, I want the next one, Marcia. Now here's the thing. Scientists, doctors and whatever, they have found something they call a discrete emotion theory. This theory states that certain specific core emotions are biologically determined. These emotional responses are fundamentally the same for all individuals, irrespective of ethnicity or cultural differences. So various parts of our brain, can trigger different emotions. So what they're saying is these emotions, interest, joy, surprise, sadness, anger, disgust, contempt, self-hostility, fear, shame, shyness, and guilt, are things that our brain, regardless of where we are from, regardless of how we were raised, these are the emotions that we all engage at some point or another. So when the pandemic happened, okay, and remember, it was universal, okay, then you have down at the bottom, fear, okay. You may have had some people feel ashamed that they didn't know that this was coming, okay, and didn't warn people in some way or another. You may have had surprise. You went to go to church and they were like, surprise, we're not here, okay. You may have had some anger that, but you know what? I'm noticing that instead of us dealing with the feelings that we're having and dealing with them on our own, what tended to happen was people started blaming and pointing fingers. They started blaming. They blamed the Chinese, and a lot of Asian people are still under threat because it's the Chinese virus. No, it's a human virus. Okay, we're all dealing with it. Okay, and then some people blame the government, or there were people who just insisted, I don't have the virus. And I remember seeing a nurse on TV, and she goes like, I cannot believe people, we're telling them they have COVID, they're in the COVID wing, and they are insisting that they do not have COVID. Those people had so much fear and possibly shame and maybe some guilt from getting sick in the first place that they couldn't acknowledge that they had the virus. Now, why is all this important? It's important because in all of our Science of Mind classes, at least all the beginning level classes, we talk about hidden beliefs. If we are not noticing the feelings that we're having, we're creating beliefs that then start to show up in our world. And our hidden beliefs are what really stick in our head, because that's what we worked on. What are the hidden beliefs that you have? Your hidden beliefs have come from the hidden emotions. The hidden emotions. Okay, you can take that down. So, how do you feel? How have you changed in this last year? One of the ones in the first column was nostalgia. People are nostalgic for what was. And we have to get over that. It's gone. It is absolutely gone. Okay, no matter how you try, you're not going back to 3 years ago. The world has utterly, utterly changed. And it's not just our country, it's all over the whole world. And so if that is so, if there's all that outer change out there, guess what? Don't you think there's inner change too? There's something that's changed in you. That's why I asked you, how do you feel? You know, what has changed? How are you different now than you were 3 years ago? Because you are different. And if you don't notice that, you'll continue to try to be the way you were. And if you're trying to be the way you were, you are going to what? Fail. Because you have to deal with everybody else who has changed. If you refuse to change, guess what? You have the problem. And so this month we're talking about the wondrousness of our emotions. Here's the thing. We talk about change your thinking, change your life, right? But emotion, someone called it emotion, energy in motion. Energy in motion is your feelings. The energy in motion is what does the what? Creating, because that's the part that comes from the subjective. If we don't deal with those emotions, if we don't recognize those emotions, if we don't manage them in some way, they what? They create for us in a way that we are not aware of. Remember last month we talked about creativity. This is part of that too. It's important that we notice our emotions and recognize that they are beyond shame, guilt, and fear. Okay, you know what I noticed that they didn't have in those lists, and I thought, why are these not here? Love, compassion, they're not there. Okay, why is love and compassion not there? I think because they are involved with empathy. See, because they're scientists, right? They're scientists. But we are spiritual people, and as spiritual people, we can recognize love and compassion. And the thing is that if you're being loving and you're being compassionate, you are having empathy with other people. So many of these are well, one of the things on the list is calmness, right? So what does that interpret to as our spiritual? It's mindfulness. How about that? So when you are finding yourself at a place and you go like, how am I feeling about this? Realize there's a whole bunch of things you can feel, but there's going to be something on the top, and then there's going to be something underneath. The one on the top is the one that's easiest to feel. So fear is a lot of times, like with the pandemic, fear is the one on top, maybe terrified or horror, okay? Those kind of feelings are at the top. But if you go down further and deeper, what might you find? You might find a sense of satisfaction because you know what? I understand what's going on right now, and I have some ability to now use my energy in a way that is more creative. So some people got angry, they got upset, they did things that were not very nice, and other people said, I can start my new business now. And think about all the people who, I know a woman who hadn't seen her sisters because they live all over the country. They hadn't seen her sisters in years. They started meeting every single week on Zoom, sharing stories from their growing up years. That would not have happened with this, okay? We know neighbors who came over and helped other neighbors and brought them food or went grocery shopping for them and did things that they didn't ordinarily do. So, there's a ton of stories of the people who they were also in this situation where they could have a lot of fear, but they did not let the fear guide them, rule them, and take over their lives. But in order to do that, you have to be quiet. You have to ask yourself, so where's the good in all of this? What are the feelings underneath? Okay? Some of us just got bored and stayed home, did nothing. Okay? And some of us, we started craving those sweets. Remember all the baking, remember all the baking stuff and how many people gained weight during and they called it COVID weight. I don't know if you heard that, but it's like COVID weight. It's like, what's COVID weight? That's because I sat home and did this. I stuffed my face and I learned how to bake. Okay. My niece, she calls up and she's, and Sandy, I never did a lot of baking, but I've been doing a lot of baking. It's like, why? Because I'm home. I'm home and I can do some things that I didn't necessarily do before. We didn't have to feel only fear. We had choices and we still have choices. Stop and think about it. What are you interested in? That was one of the words up there too. Interest. What are you interested in? Where can you expand your life? It's not going to be what it was. So you might want to just do some meditating or mindfulness work and just start thinking, who is it that I want to be? Because guess what? You're in a place now that you can create the life that you want. Because the life that you had is gone. Now, I realize you may live in the same home. Some of us still have the same jobs. I know Deborah, she kept her job all through the pandemic, and some people were real jealous about that. But at the same time, by the way, so did I. Okay, all right, okay, so. But, the thing is that we still have to make some decisions about who we want to be. And in the past, we had a track that we were working on, and all of our expectations, we could just keep going. And now we have a stopping point. We can say, you know what? I really like that life and I want to expand it, or I really didn't like this, and this, and I can change it. I can change it. I don't have to have what I had. We are in such a place of unlimited opportunity. And yet there are those of us who just say, I just wish we could get back to normal. That's the nostalgia thing. What is normal? Normal is what I'm used to, what I'm not afraid of, what I feel comfortable with, and what previously I would have said I was bored of. Okay? That is the past. So here we are. On your spice rack, that's a great title, isn't it? What's on your spice rack? You have a whole spice rack of emotions to choose from. You don't have to just stick with one or two. You have all this that you have. You have a whole smorgasbord of emotions and feelings that you can feel. And when you were a child, some of those feelings, they were pushed down. They didn't want you to feel some of these feelings, right? When someone died in your family, they probably shielded you from that. And so you weren't allowed to have sympathy and compassion for the person or for your family. Or maybe you had, cravings for something, a toy or a sweet or something like that. And people said, no, you can't have that. That's not good for you. Okay. Or maybe they insisted that you go to school and study and do all these kinds of things. And, you would just get bored with all the things that you were doing and you wanted to do something different. They said, nah, you got to do this, what we want you to do. So you had adults who were determining how you were going to be in the world. And that pattern has gone throughout your life. I promise you, some aspects of that is still going on in your life. I promise you. If you take a look, you will see. But now, that's gone. You're in a new place of choice. What are you going to do? We've been teaching in Science of Mind. We always teach what? You have choice. You see, I don't know if you noticed the little pictures they had there on the thing. It's like, one is gloomy, the other's happy, okay? We have that choice. And there's everything, these are extremes, but there's everything in between. You don't have to just stick with one thing or the other. You don't have to be this or that. And not only that, in the same day, you can have a whole bunch of different feelings. Think about that. You can be joyful in the morning, sad in the afternoon, bored in the evening, okay? And adoring and admiring me on Sunday morning. Just think. Just think, you can go through the day being yourself. Think about that. You can go through the day being yourself. Just think about that. You have permission. I'm giving it to you. Today, you out there, whoever, we're in here, out there, wherever you are, you have permission from this moment on to be yourself, to have your feelings, to have your thoughts, to have your emotions, to decide what you want to do with your life. The past is gone. There was changes that you did not ask for, but they came. So now it's called, I get to have a new life. I get to do what I want to do. I get to fly if I want to. I get to go on vacations. I get to do whatever it is I've been not doing. And I get to do it in a healthy way. Why? Because of what our declaration principle says. What was it? Changing conditions. Look in your program. Right here. We believe in the healing of the sick and the changing of conditions through the power of this mind, because God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. So you and God are a majority. You can make whatever changes you want in your life. Whatever changes you want in your life. This last couple of months, we had Edwene, what did she say? Make your goals. Go home and think about it. What are the changes that you've been wanting to make in your life, and you have allowed fear to stop you? You have allowed your comfort to distract you, and you have allowed other people to agree with you that you can't do this. And believe me, there will be people who will be around you who will agree that no, you can't do this. No, this is not possible for you. But if you have the desire, if it is your dream, if it is your vision, if it is your goal, if it's any of that, if it's yours, you have the capacity with the mind of God in you to do it, to be it, to experience it, to live it. Be the rebel heart. Good song. Be the rebel heart. Okay? Go against everybody else. Go against the grain. Surprise people. Well, they go like, I didn't expect that of you. No, you didn't, did you? And then you will find what will happen is those hidden beliefs will start to surface. Those beliefs that said, nah, you can't do this. And you have to say, no, there's a line here. This is before 2020, this is after 2020, and I couldn't have done it then, but I can do it now. Okay? Because I have a new awareness of who I am. I have a new awareness. I have a new experience. And I've had 2 years of changing, of moving around and making adjustments. And now I'm at a point. That's why we've done the things we've done this year. We started out reading the magic book and being grateful. Okay, and then last month we talked about creativity. We talked about goal setting and forgiving. Forgiving is part of this too. Okay, and so now we're talking about the emotions, the feelings that allow us to create the lives that we want to live. So we have to think the thoughts, but we also have to feel the feelings. We have to choose to feel, I can't do this. I have the power within me, the power, the presence, the life of spirit guiding, directing, and supporting me. And so we use our spiritual practice of just breathing, relaxing, and like Edwin, just like, all right, God, I'm here. I need direction. This is what I want to do. I'm willing to listen. And you will get the answers. We must be patient because God sometimes talks very quietly. And if we're not used to listening, we may miss the message. We may not hear it at all. Okay? So pour yourself in me. Pour yourself, what is it? Wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me. Be a light in my life. I'm willing to sit and be patient and allow. So let us turn within and begin that allowing. Just by breathing. It is so easy. All we have to do is close our eyes. We can sit, we can stand, we can lay down, we can do it in our bed before we wake up in the morning. Just wake up and lay there and breathe and give thanks and be grateful that the spirit of life is breathing you. Some people did not wake up in the morning. So be thankful that you woke up this morning, that you are breathing, now. And that breath connects you with your higher power, the divinity within you. The very life that you live is not yours only. It is the life of God expressing itself in, through, and as all that you are. And it never, ever, ever deserts you. It is always within, always available. But it requires you to turn within and see it, feel it, and know it. It's not out there in the world jumping up and down saying, look at me. It is quietly, quietly, quietly within you saying, be still and know. Be still and know that I am the God within, the power within, the joy within, the love within. I am your divine resource, that all that I am, you are. And so if I am love, you are love. If I am joy, you are joy. If I am intelligent and wise and creative, then you are intelligent, wise, and creative. For all that I am within you. And so in this moment, right here, right now, right where you are, wherever you are, just accept this. Because I cannot accept it for you. You have to accept it for yourself. You have to know the spirit within yourself. It is not something that is outside of you, it is within. And so now just be grateful for that is within, that power, that intelligence, that wisdom. Be grateful that this is all that it takes to connect. Just simply closing your eyes, turning within and listening. Now choose to make it a habit, something you do on a regular basis, even if it's only for a few moments a day in the beginning. And so we know that the creative law of mind knows who we are. It knows who we are. And it knows exactly how to harmoniously express in our lives in such a way that we experience our own desires. And so as I know that this is the truth of myself and of each person in the sound of my voice, that there is no separation, no division. There is only the total oneness and the totality of beingness that is God in us, through us, and as us. And so we rejoice that it is so. We are grateful that it is so. And we release it into the law, knowing that it is manifested in each one of our lives in the most perfect way, and maybe even in the most surprising way, so that we may rejoice in joy and love and deep gratitude and thanksgiving. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Here I am. I have a song for you that I wrote. It's on my latest CD. It's the title track of my latest CD. It's called I Love My Life. This is the moment I have dreamed of, to stand before you filled with joy, out of chaos and mystery. I stand here now in my destiny. So many times my heart's been broken. People I love have turned away, but with the power of forgiveness, I taste the sweetness of today. I wouldn't change a step I've taken in this life. My broken places are where compassion lies. I've made mistakes along the way, but from my heart, joyfully I say, and you can sing along, I love my life, 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 I love my life. This is the same sun I see rising, but it feels different on my face. I embrace the beauty I see there. Creation's love is everywhere. The floodgates of gratitude are open wide. My soul took me on a wild ride. Oh, but each new day I'm finding my happiness needs no reminding, 'cause I'm in the right place at the right time. I faced the fears that kept me blind, and with no certain future I left the past behind, to embrace the innocence and the freedom I'd find. And that's why I love my life, 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 and I love my life, 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 I love my life. This is the moment I have dreamed of. Thank you.
So Cynthia gave me a CD to look at because it was a song she wanted to. She wanted, one of the songs on the CD for memorial service this afternoon.
That's another CD.
That's another CD. Anyway, CDs always have information about people. It's her CD. So we have a real professional here. I mean, Sherry was like last week, yeah, we've done this, they were not bragging on themselves. Do you remember the mamas and the papas? Tell us what you did with them.
Me?
Yeah.
Mamas and Papas?
Yeah.
Oh, opening act.
See? Okay.
Leonard Skinner, the Allman Brothers, Tina Turner. It goes on and on. Yeah.
See what I mean? We ain't talking about little, I've been enjoying music in church and I've been singing since I was 5 at the church, No, we're talking about somebody who's a real professional. Okay. You can tell by the way they use the microphone, by the way. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm just
I
happy to
love
have a
somebody
home.
who was that modest. How long has she been working with us? What, 2 years? Yes, over 2 years, and she never once said a word. I guess she's waiting for us to buy her CDs and read.
Or the website.
That too. Okay. All right. So, let me see. But Cynthia always gives a lot of credit to the people around her. Notice that? She tells you all about how wonderful they are and all the things they've done, and all that. And she has kept her own hidden under this bushel. And we are so glad that it is shining here. Believe me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you have been given to. So in your program is your conscious giving affirmation. So do you know why we call it conscious giving? Because we don't want you to give unconsciously. We want you to give because you know what you're doing. Okay? It's not by rote, but you're actually giving because you've considered what you're giving, and you're giving it with an awareness that you're giving it to an organization that is using it to do all of this. Okay? And so here we are. Freely I give with a feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others and myself as well.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed.
And our Thanksgiving affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. So we're having a memorial service after today. We decided to do that because so many of us had people in our families and in our sphere of influence who made their transition during the last 2 years, and we have not been able to gather in the way in which we have desired to do so. And even now, we can do it, but we have to do it in a very careful way. I don't know if you noticed, but even people who have boosted both times can also get this new strain of BA, whatever it is. So just be careful where you go. We have board meeting in not the third week, but the fourth week. And next week is Mother's Day. So please, all you mothers, show up so we can celebrate you mothers.
Yes.
Okay? Out there too. All right. Would you like to do some singing? No, we want to do our closing affirmation and then we want to sing. So we're backwards. I have to make some changes in my mind. Okay, here we go. We go forth today, knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us, and only good comes to us, and so it is.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With Spirit as our Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let prayers begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my soul and vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Very good. I'll keep this one.